Hey guys, so I thought I'd make this video, very quick video on how to do an oil change on my Tenere. I saved myself over $500 by doing it myself. I'm going to show you how quickly you can do an oil change on a Tenere. A couple of reasons why I want to do my own oil change. One, I know exactly what's going on with my bike, so I get to understand what's where, how it works, etc. Two, I know exactly what's going in it, and if there's any little problems that's going to occur, I can see them there and then and not have someone else tell me what potentially could be wrong or make up something that's wrong and charge me more money. But the key reason I'm doing it is I went to Yamaha. This bike's brand new, it's now getting its 6,000 mile oil change. They wanted $602 to do an oil change because they said it includes a 100-point inspection. Well, those inspections are all visual inspections, things like looking at the tires, looking at the brake pads, looking at the spokes, looking at the gauges. I look at them every day I ride, so I know exactly where they are. I spent $46 for the oil, and I think it was $11 or $15 for the filter. So I saved myself over $500 by doing it myself. Bear in mind, when you do things yourself, you get a little bit forgetful, you don't get receipts, you do anything. So always keep yourself a log what you're doing, keep it in your book, and go from there. That's it. So 10 minutes, oil change, done. And how simple it is compared to BMWs and KTMs. So a couple of things that you're going to need first of all, obviously, something to catch your oil in, something to dispose of the oil, a few tools, a new oil filter, and some new oil. I'm using the Castrol Power One 4T 1040. 4T is specifically designed for adventure bikes. It's hard wearing. It gets a good rating, and I got that from Amazon. I got 6 litres of Amazon for $46. I'll put the link below. I can't guarantee that'll be the price when you go for it, but that's how much it was when I bought it. So my plan is to dump my oil, change my filter, let it sit overnight, and then top it back up when the oil arrives tomorrow. So let's go. Tools that you're going to need. Obviously, something to remove the oil filter. This particular oil filter, the new one, is a K&N. It has a 17mm nut on the top here, so you're going to need a 17mm. Although you can technically do these up by hand pretty much, and it'll be tight enough. You're going to need a 5mm wrench key for this bolt here on the plastic skid plate that comes on the bike as standard. There's one on the other side as well, so you're going to need one of those. You're also going to need a 10mm socket wrench or thumb for this bolt here thing, and again, there is one on the other side. I've already undone the ones on the other side to make a little bit of ease. And then you're going to require a 12mm wrench for both these bolts here, and we'll talk about those separately when we get to them. So let's get on with getting this off. And then this just slips off. One thing I will say when you take this off, okay, be careful because it's in two different shapes. On the front here, the bolts that come off, you've got a little metal insert here and here. And on the inside, you have a metal insert here and a metal insert in here as well. Always good to clean this up afterwards. I've actually got my Givi skid plate that goes on here, which I've already removed. And I didn't bother showing you how to do that just because you might not have one of those on there. I've also got my oil spill mat, just in case I do spill some oil. And I've also got my little magnetic tray to throw my nuts and bolts in, so that I don't lose them, because I'm good at that. So pretty much that's all done. Got my oil drain filter on there. And one thing, there's two schools of thought here. One is that if you start the engine, then you're going to throw oil around the engine, and therefore it's going to take longer to drain out. And I was an advocate of that for a while. Not starting the engine, leaving it to drain, just cold oil and leave it overnight. However, one of my friends told me that the best way to do it actually is to actually start the engine, allow that oil to throw around, because if there's any little metal parts or any gunk or anything that's in that air, that oil is going to catch it and hopefully drag it out with it when you drain the oil. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to quickly fire her up, let her run for about 30 seconds, switch her off so that the oil doesn't get too hot, and go from there. That key's somewhere. And that hopefully will do the trick. Okay, so we have two nuts on the underneath here, 12mm dry sump and 12mm wet sump, to be honest, is the easiest way to explain it. We start with the dry and then to the wet. I'm using a ring spanner so that I don't mess anything up. I just sit my bolts in there. Bear in mind there's two copper squashed washers in there. Also, on the other side, we go ahead and loosen the oil filler cap here. This will allow the air to flow in and help it drain a little bit quicker. Then just sit that back on the top. Now the little copper washer that goes on the drain plug, if it's the first time that you've used it, i.e. it's been used once before, there's no need to buy another one if it's not damaged. You can just flip it over and compress it the other direction. Now that all the oil has drained out, I'm just going to clean up this oil mess here where I spilled some. Good job I had my drain pan and my spill mat. Then I'm just going to take my new filter, take a little bit of the clean oil, put it around the edge just to help create a little seal and screw that back on. So hand tight, then taking my 17mm, just literally a quarter of a turn, half a turn, something along those lines. And that's that done. We're then going to take our two drain plugs. Doesn't matter which one we put back in first. Again, get my wipe, make sure they're clean. And I'll return this to the store where I bought it from because they get rid of the oil for free. Again, you don't want to over tighten these. All you got to do now is put your new oil in and you're pretty much done. So let's go ahead and put the plastic skid plate part back on. And it's exactly the same on the other side. I think we'll be able to get it in there somehow. Oh no, I can do it from this side. Amazing. That's how easy it is on a Tenere. You can do pretty much everything from one side of the bike. Oil filter replaced. Plastic skid guard back on. Both bolts back in place. Now we're just ready to top her up with the oil. Here it is, Castrol 1040 4T Power 1 for adventure bikes, like I mentioned already. The link is below on the video for the price that I paid from Amazon. So we're going to need 3.5 of these, technically 3.59 quarts, US quarts, or 3.4 litres. Got my spill mat down. Okay guys, we just filled it up with the required amount of oil, like I mentioned. 3.5 quarts, 3.5 litres, roughly about the same, but it's 3.59 or 3.39 depending on which way you're going it. Once you've done that, close it all up. Start the bike, let her run for about 10 minutes so she heats up properly. Then let it cool down for a few minutes, and then what you're going to do is you're going to look in here, a little oil window indicator in here, and then between the minimum and maximum mark, and just make sure the oil level is in the correct place. If you haven't put enough in, go ahead and put some more in. If you put too much in, then that's another story, and that's going to be another video. One last thing then, ladies and gents. The Super Tenere with the electronic display has a little reminder for you as well. So we just switch it on, go to our little menu select button up here, and we're going to hit that, and it's going to change this. We're going to maintenance, we're going to hit it one more time, it comes to maintenance. And I've already reset it. However, what you're going to do is you're going to hold down this button here till it flashes, and then obviously, and just press it one more time, it'll reset, and then actually got a visual reminder about how to go to there. And then just obviously click your pass button to come back out again, and that's you done. In the US, they use terrible oil, in my opinion. So that calls for oil change at 600 miles or 1,000 kilometers, 4,000 miles or 7,000 kilometers, 8,000 miles or 13,000 kilometers. So this is the manual that actually comes with my bike. And when I flick to the maintenance record at the back here, okay, which I haven't filled on because I've got my own logbook, it shows you that the oil should be changed 600 miles, 4,000 miles, 8,000 miles, 12,000 miles, 16,000 miles. So basically what they're saying is you should change the oil every 4,000 miles. If you go online and go to any other country in the world and look at the schedule, it's every 6,000 miles or 10,000 miles. The only country in the world that wants you to change their oil every 4,000 miles is the United States. For the simple reason, they want you to pay more money, they're trying to screw you to buy more oil. That's it. Shit bust. No other reason. I've just done my 6,000 mile oil change, and I put in the Castrol G1. I'm not going to change my oil now for another 10,000 miles. So at the 16,000 mile point, I'm going to change my oil again, and I'm also going to change my final drive. And I'll see you on that video. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If it was useful for you, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification button so that you get the next lesson when it comes out. And as always, I'll see you next week.